Corrupt cops bribe a judge to ruin a black woman's life by framing her for a crime she didn't commit. But in a shocking courtroom twist, they discover she's their new boss. Detective Tom Roberts and his longtime partner, Sergeant Mark Lewis, had a reputation. They were the kind of cops who knew the streets like the backs of their hands and sometimes used this knowledge in ways that blurred the lines of law. Their target was Naomi Clark, a young, ambitious black woman who had recently returned to Redwood Heights. Naomi, with a degree in criminal justice from a prestigious university, was determined to clean up the city starting with its corrupt law enforcement. Her outspoken nature and relentless pursuit of justice had already started to ruffle some feathers at the police department. Detective Roberts and Sergeant Lewis, fearing their misdeeds might come to light with Naomi's rise, decided to take drastic action. They planned to frame her for a crime she didn't commit, a crime so severe it would not only discredit her, but also deter anyone else who dared to challenge their authority. With the help of a corrupt judge, Judge Aaron Miller, who was deep in gambling debts and easy to manipulate, they orchestrated a foolproof plan to plant evidence linking Naomi to a major drug trafficking ring. As the plan was set in motion, Naomi continued her advocacy, unaware of the storm brewing against her. She organized community meetings, participated in police oversight panels, and was on the verge of bringing significant changes that could shake the very foundations of the Redwood Heights Police Department. The night before the operation was to take place, Roberts and Lewis met in secret. They reviewed every detail, confident that their scheme would succeed. Little did they know, the tables were about to turn in a way they never anticipated. Naomi, their intended victim, had just been appointed as the new police commissioner following a secretive selection process aimed at bringing reform from the top. As the first rays of dawn colored the city's skyline, the day of reckoning approached. Roberts and Lewis, ready to enact their plan, were about to discover that the woman they aimed to destroy was now the most powerful officer in Redwood Heights. The stage was set for a clash that would expose the depths of corruption and perhaps mark a new beginning for justice in the city. The morning was crisp as Naomi Clark prepared for her first day as the newly appointed police commissioner of Redwood Heights. Her mind was filled with plans for reform and ideas to bridge the gap between the community and the police force. Little did she know, she was walking into a storm carefully orchestrated by those who wanted her gone. Detective Tom Roberts and Sergeant Mark Lewis, ready to execute their plan to frame Naomi, were stopped cold when they received news of her appointment. The news spread like wildfire through the department, leaving a trail of shock and disbelief. Roberts and Lewis, in particular, were stunned. Their plan to plant drugs in Naomi's car and have her arrested under Judge Aaron Miller's corrupt guidance was about to unravel dramatically. As Naomi entered the police headquarters, she was met with a mix of reactions. While some officers were genuinely supportive, others, like Roberts and Lewis, masked their panic with forced smiles. Naomi, unaware of the conspiracy against her, initiated her first order of business, a thorough audit of the department's recent activities and pending cases, especially those handled by Roberts and Lewis. Meanwhile, Roberts and Lewis scrambled in the background. They met hurriedly in a secluded part of the building, whispering frantically about their next move. The evidence meant to frame Naomi was still in play, and they needed to retrieve it before she could discover their plot. However, as they plotted, Naomi was being briefed by a few honest senior officers who were tired of the corruption. They hinted at some irregularities in recent operations, which piqued Naomi's interest. Sensing that something was amiss, she decided to dig deeper, calling for all files related to the narcotics division, Roberts and Lewis's main area of operation. The tension was palpable as Naomi began her day with determination, unknowingly tightening the noose around the very people who sought her downfall. Roberts and Lewis, realizing that their time was running out, decided on a risky move. They planned to break into the evidence room and remove any incriminating materials before Naomi could get to them. As the day unfolded, Naomi's presence began to unsettle the old guard. Her sharp acumen and the respect she commanded from her allies only heightened the fear among those who had secrets to hide. As she moved confidently through the corridors of power, Roberts and Lewis were lurking in the shadows, aware that their careers and freedom were hanging by a thread. The stage was set for a confrontation that would expose the depths of betrayal in Redwood Heights. Naomi, the beacon of change, was on a collision course with the dark underbelly of the police force she was destined to reform. As the sun set over the city, the impending clash between truth and corruption was inevitable, and Redwood Heights braced itself for the shockwaves that were about to follow. The evening brought a storm to Redwood Heights, both in the skies and within the walls of the police headquarters. Naomi Clark had spent her first day as commissioner reviewing files and procedures, gradually unraveling the web of deceit spun by Detective Tom Roberts and Sergeant Mark Lewis. Her discovery of missing files and doctored evidence reports had led her directly to them. As Naomi prepared to confront Roberts and Lewis, they were making one final desperate attempt to retrieve the planted evidence from the evidence room. The tension was palpable as they sneaked through the dimly lit corridors, only to find themselves face to face with Naomi and two trusted officers she had brought along for backup. Naomi's voice was calm but firm as she addressed them. "I know what you've been trying to do. It's over now. We can do this the easy way where you come clean and we consider your cooperation, or the hard way where we dig out everything ourselves." Roberts and Lewis exchanged nervous glances, realizing their plan was crumbling fast. Roberts, trying to maintain a facade of innocence, denied the accusations, but Naomi was ready. She laid out the evidence she had compiled: mismatched log entries, unauthorized access to the narcotics safe, and surveillance footage showing their late-night meetings. It was clear she had done her homework. Faced with undeniable evidence, Lewis's resolve broke. He confessed to their plan to frame Naomi, explaining how they had been manipulated by Judge Aaron Miller's promises and threats. Roberts, seeing no way out, admitted his role reluctantly. Naomi's next steps were decisive. She suspended Roberts and Lewis on the spot, pending a full investigation. She also informed them that Judge Miller was under investigation for his corrupt practices, a fact that made Roberts and Lewis realize the depth of their misjudgment. As the storm outside intensified, Naomi's resolve to cleanse the Department of Corruption strengthened. She knew this was just the beginning of a long battle to rebuild trust and integrity within the Redwood Heights Police Department. Her swift action against Roberts and Lewis sent a clear message to the department: corruption would no longer be tolerated. With the first major challenge of her tenure behind her, Naomi felt a mix of relief and sadness. Relief that she had managed to avert her own framing, and sadness for the state of a department she had once believed in. As she left the headquarters that night, the cleansing rain seemed to echo her commitment to wash away the old guard and bring forth a new dawn for Redwood Heights. In the wake of the storm, as the sun rose over Redwood Heights, it shone on a police department transformed. Commissioner Naomi Clark stood in her new office, reflecting on the events that had reshaped her role and the community she was sworn to protect. Today was her first public address since the confrontation that exposed deep-seated corruption within her ranks. With the city's media gathered, Naomi delivered a powerful message about accountability, integrity, and the importance of community oversight in law enforcement. She announced initiatives including the establishment of a citizen review board and regular public forums to foster transparency and dialogue between the police and the community. As Naomi spoke, her words resonated not just in the room but across the community. Residents of Redwood Heights, long weary of distrust, felt a cautious optimism. The local news outlets, which had followed Naomi's ordeal closely, now highlighted her plans for reform, sparking hope and a sense of investment in the city's future. In the weeks that followed, Naomi worked tirelessly. She collaborated with local leaders, restructured departments, and implemented training programs focused on community policing and ethics. Her open-door policy for officers and citizens alike revitalized the morale of the department and slowly mended the fractured trust with the public. One evening, as Naomi walked through a neighborhood that had once been a hotspot for the misdeeds she fought against, she saw tangible signs of change. Children played in the streets under the watchful eyes of community patrols, and residents greeted her with respect and gratitude. It was a stark contrast to the skepticism that once greeted law enforcement in these parts. The final scene of our story finds Naomi at a community center, surrounded by residents eager to partake in shaping their city's policing efforts. She listened, she spoke, and most importantly, she acted. Redwood Heights was not just rebuilding, it was thriving under her leadership. Naomi's journey from being nearly destroyed by corruption to leading the charge for systemic change was more than a victory for one woman. It was a beacon for cities engulfed in the shadows of injustice. Her story, a testament to resilience and determination, would inspire not only Redwood Heights but also other communities nationwide, proving that even in the face of overwhelming odds, change is possible. As the meeting concluded, Naomi looked around at the diverse faces filled with hope and determination. Her heart was full, knowing she had not only cleared her name, but had turned her most challenging moment into an opportunity for growth and renewal. This was the true justice she had fought for, a community united, a force for good, a new dawn for Redwood Heights. As the story of Naomi Clark's courageous transformation of the Redwood Heights Police Department concludes, we are reminded of the profound impact that integrity and determination can have on a community. Naomi's journey from being targeted by corruption to becoming a leader of change illustrates the power of resilience and the importance of standing up for justice. Thank you for joining us on this inspiring journey. If Naomi's story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories of hope and transformation. Together, we can make a difference in our communities, one story at a time.